Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are strapping ourselves into the blueprint for what looks like a brand's revival. We're focusing on just one pretty compelling concept vehicle, the Mitsubishi Elevance.
That's right. And you gave us some really interesting sources detailing this reveal. It was at the Japan Mobility Show, wasn't it?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay. So our mission today, well, it feels ambitious. We need to kind of cut through all the concept car flashiness, and really distill the foundational tech and design bits Mitsubishi's putting out there.
Basically a shortcut to understanding where they're headed,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the off-road space.
Exactly. Because what we're looking at here, it isn't just some fancy design exercise just for the show floor, right?
No, absolutely not. Our sources make it pretty clear. This thing is Mitsubishi basically planting a flag, announcing, hey, we're getting back in the game.
And specifically joining, well, one of the biggest trends, probably one of the most profitable trends, sweeping the car world right now.
You mean the rugged SUV comeback?
That's the one. The clear, unambiguous return of the boxy, tough, adventure-ready SUV. And it's not just looks, is it? It's what people want. Capability, authenticity, it's a commercial thing, too.
Yeah, and the pressure's on, isn't it? That's important context here. Like, this isn't some small niche thing.
Not at all.
We know Nissan, Honda, Toyota,
Mm-hmm.
they've all recently shown off similar concepts, or they've got production models already leaning hard into that tough, ready-for-anything vibe.
Right. It really confirms that this specific area, toughness combined with electrification, that's where the big fights are going to be for the next, decade.
Totally. So Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a brand whose identity was practically forged in the Dakar rally dust with the Montero.
Yeah.
Or the Pajero, depending where you
A
live.
legendary name for sure.
And now they're stepping back into that fight, but doing it with a totally modern spin.
Exactly. Blending that classic off-road toughness with a fully electrified platform. So the Elevance Concept. That's basically their opening shot.
Okay, and let's just get this out there right away, because it's the bit everyone's buzzing about. The big tease. This Elevance, it's the strongest hint we've had yet, isn't it? That the Mitsubishi Montero might actually be coming back.
Oh, absolutely. The look, the focus on capability, even just the size of it. The link to the Montero history, it feels undeniable. We'll definitely dig into the evidence later, what parts might actually hit the production line.
But first things first, we got to talk about how Mitsubishi is thinking about translating that toughness into, well, modern design and tech. It starts with the look, right? The visual language?
Yeah, the whole design philosophy.
Okay, so let's unpack this, starting with that pretty striking exterior. Concept cars, they always push things, but the Elevance, it seemed to have some surprisingly functional design cues hidden inside that clean, futuristic exterior design they talk about.
I think clean is the key word there. It suggests, restraint. Unlike some modern SUVs that just look busy, maybe, overstyled.
Yeah, too many lines.
Right. The Elevance uses these strong, simple shapes, geometric forms, and that communicates capability, doesn't it? That overall squared-off shape. It's not just for show.
No, it helps with interior space, right? And maybe more importantly, for a proper rugged vehicle, it's better for approach and departure angles, getting over stuff.
Exactly. For steep terrain, that's crucial. And you see that functional thinking in the details, too, like the trapezoidal wheel arches.
Yeah, classic off-road look.
It is, but it also signals that they've thought about the engineering. It basically says, look, we've built in the space, the architecture you need for big, aggressive off-road tires and, serious wheel travel articulation.
Makes sense. And that honeycomb grille pattern, that also adds to the sort of structured, techie feel.
Yeah, it manages to look both tough and high-tech at the same time, which is tricky. But they definitely leaned into the concept car features, too, especially the lighting.
Oh, yeah, the lights. Very concept-y.
Very. The front end is defined by these incredibly thin, high-up LED daytime running lights, really sharp, defined lines. And the main headlights and taillights, just as slim, almost like they reduced the lights to just technical slits.
That's definitely the modern concept car thing, isn't it? Making functional bits into tiny strips of light.
So the really radical part, the thing that seems to drive the whole interior idea, it's the glass, right?
Absolutely, the glass.
Our sources were pointing out how the side windows stretch down incredibly low. Like, it almost looks like the entire bottom half of the door is just glass.
And that extreme transparency, that's the direct link to the interior idea. Mitsubishi actually describes the cabin not just as a space, but as a shell.
A shell, okay. That sounds protective. But they also say the goal is openness. How does that work?
Well, it reconciles through the focus on visibility. Think about it in a rugged vehicle, especially when you're picking your way through tricky terrain. Seeing what's around you is probably the most critical safety feature.
Right, you need to see that rock or how steep that drop-off really is. Exactly. Judge inclines, spot hidden obstacles, gauge distances. So the shell achieves this comprehensive visibility in three main ways based on the design.
Okay, lay them out for us. What are these engineering tricks?
Okay, first, they're talking about using ultra-thin A-pillars. Now, that's a huge engineering challenge, right? Making those pillars that hold up the roof, handle crash forces, super slim without compromising safety.
Yeah, that sounds tough. But it would reduce blind spots, which are usually pretty bad in big SUVs.
Dramatically, yeah. Second, the full glass roof, that just floods the cabin with light, gets rid of that closed-in feeling you sometimes get, and obviously gives you great upward visibility. Trees, mountains, whatever.
Okay, and the third?
A third is those huge side windows you mentioned, stretching way down low. It just brings the outside environment right into the cabin, connects you to it.
Huh. So it feels less like being inside a metal box and more like, I don't know, a mobile viewing platform.
Yeah.
Designed to really immerse you in the adventure.
That's exactly the feeling they seem to be going for, engaging with the environment. But despite all that glass on the outside, the cabin itself is apparently quite minimalist. They want to minimize visual clutter for the driver.
Makes sense. You don't want a million buttons distracting you when you're trying not to slide off a muddy trail.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But, and this is a big but, that physical minimalism is immediately contradicted, I guess, by the screen tech. Because while the buttons are minimal, the digital information is maximalist. Absolutely defines the dashboard.
The digital command center, they called it.
That's the one. It's the futuristic centerpiece. You've got 3 enormous screens, and they span the entire width of the dashboard, literally pillar to pillar.
Whoa. Okay, so not just a driver display and a center screen. The passenger gets their own huge screen, too.
Seems like it. Dedicated, probably customizable for nav, entertainment, maybe even watching the off-road stats, who knows?
We've seen that pillar-to-pillar screen thing in some high-end luxury cars, right? But putting it in a rugged concept, it suggests they see that digital interface as being just as crucial as, like, the suspension or the engine.
I think they do. Because managing a vehicle this complex, you know, the quad motor system we'll get to, the different drive modes, the AI suggestions, it all needs huge amounts of information delivered clearly and immediately.
Right, and if 3 screens weren't enough.
Exactly. There's a 4th screen built right into the steering wheel, which is, by the way, hexagon-shaped.
A hexagon wheel. Okay, definitely futuristic. But a screen in the wheel, that suggests some really immediate critical info being displayed there.
That's the thinking, yeah. That 4th display is probably for the absolute must-know right now driving info, maybe real-time torque split to each wheel, or instant alerts from the AIcoDriver we need to talk about, stuff you need without shifting your eyes far from the road.
Okay, now, if you can tear your eyes away from all that glass and all those screens, the Elevance is still meant to be practical, right? Seating for 6, you said.
Yep, 6 seats. So proper family adventure potential, and they included this this interactive feature designed for when you arrive, not for the journey itself.
Ah, the lounge mode.
The lounge mode, yeah. This is where the vehicle sort of acknowledges it's more than just transport. It's like a base camp. When you're parked, the front seats can apparently swivel 180 degrees, turn right around to face the rear passengers.
So it transforms the cabin from this forward-facing driving space into more of a communal hangout area.
Exactly, a lounge-like gathering space, which is pretty smart thinking for a vehicle focused on exploration, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's like we get you to the amazing spot, and then we help you enjoy the amazing spot.
It elevates the car, doesn't it, from just transport to being part of the experience. But getting that potentially luxurious 6-seat lounge deep into the backcountry, that requires some serious muscle underneath. Which brings us to the electrified core.
Perfect segue. Let's shift from the fancy shell and the swiveling seats to the actual heart of this machine, because this is where it gets really interesting, I think. The mechanics. This isn't just pie-in-the-sky concept stuff. This feels like a roadmap for how Mitsubishi wants to build its next generation of capable off-roaders.
Definitely. The core strategy is crystal clear. It's a plug-in hybrid system, a PHEV. Mitsubishi is really doubling down on this tech, pairing a gasoline engine with electric motors and presumably a decent-sized battery.
And that choice, PHEV, that's pretty significant for an adventure vehicle, isn't it? Why not go full EV like everyone else seems to be pushing?
Well, for a brand like Mitsubishi, whose whole reputation is built on, reliability way out in the middle of nowhere, pure EV tech still has two massive hurdles: charging infrastructure or lack thereof, and range anxiety.
Right. Can't plug in easily on a remote trail.
Exactly. So the PHEV, it kind of offers the best of both worlds, doesn't it? You get that silent, torquey electric drive for your everyday commuting, your errands, but you also get the reassurance of gasoline range extension for those big trips, far from any charger. It's a pragmatic choice for their likely customers.
Okay, but we have to point out the crucial detail here.
Yeah.
Mitsubishi didn't actually release any performance specs, did they?
No, not yet. No numbers on engine size, battery capacity, horsepower, torque, nothing concrete there. But the real genius, or at least the really interesting part, is the configuration they did talk about: the advanced drivetrain architecture.
Okay, tell us about that.
Right. The architecture tells you everything about its intended capability. It's the definition of modern off-road engineering. The Elevance uses not one, not two, but 4 electric motors.
4 motors, wow. Okay, and the key thing here is that each motor drives just one wheel independently.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And this is where we need to connect back to Mitsubishi's heritage, because this quad motor system, it's basically the electrified 21st century evolution of their legendary Super Select 4WD system. You know, the one from the old Montero Pajero.
Okay. Super
Yeah.
Select, that was highly regarded.
It was. So we should maybe start calling this what it feels like: Electric Super Select.
Electric Super Select, I like that. It leverages the history,
Yeah.
but signals the new tech. So the original Super Select was known for being mechanically versatile. How does this electric Super Select use 4 motors to be, well, better?
Okay, so traditional 4WD systems, they rely on things like transfer cases, mechanical differentials, maybe some electronic limited slip stuff. But those systems have physical limits, right? And there's always a slight delay when they react to wheel slip.
Okay.
The quad motor system basically throws all that out the window. You get fully independent, instantaneous torque control that's torque vectoring at every single corner of the vehicle.
Right.
At the same time.
So hang on. If, say, the front left wheel hits some slick mud and loses almost all its traction, the system doesn't need to brake that wheel and mechanically force power across the axle.
Nope. It just instantly, electronically directs maximum available torque to the other 3 wheels. Or maybe even just the rear right wheel, if that has the most grip. There's virtually 0 delay.
Wow. Okay. That sounds like a huge leap in precision.
It is. It allows for traction and stability control that's physically impossible with just mechanical links. It should significantly improve handling, even on pavement, but off-road, that's where it really shines. Especially in situations where you need super controlled wheel movement, like rock crawling, or on really slippery surfaces, ice, sand, deep mud. This is why rugged SUVs are moving this way.
Okay, but I have to push back a bit here. You mentioned the Montero legacy, right?
Yeah.
And the Montero was known for being relatively light, relatively simple, robust. Isn't adding a gasoline engine, a big heavy battery pack, and 4 separate electric motors going to make this Elevance thing incredibly heavy? And doesn't weight kind of kill off-road ability?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Mass is definitely the enemy of off-road agility. And yes, this setup will be heavy. Mitsubishi is absolutely making a calculated trade-off here.
What's the trade-off?
They're betting that the sheer control you gain from that instant, precise per-wheel torque vectoring will outweigh the penalty of the extra weight. They're shifting the focus, maybe, from lightweight agility towards software-defined control. Plus, the instant torque from electric motors helps mask some of that weight feel, especially at low speeds.
Huh. Interesting. So the quad motor setup is like the electrical solution to the mechanical problem of power delivery, and it helps compensate for the weight compromise of the PHEV system itself.
That seems to be the strategy. And this whole PHEV choice, it directly addresses that core adventurer worry, range anxiety. Mitsubishi was pretty clear about how they see people using this.
Right, the intended usage pattern. How did they break that down?
They said the Elevance is designed to run primarily as a pure EV for everyday driving. Commutes, school runs, shopping trips. That maximizes efficiency, gives you that quiet EV experience.
Okay. And the gas engine, when does that kick in?
The hybrid system, the gasoline engine, it really steps in mainly to extend range on longer trips. That's the safety net, the adventurer's lifeline, really.
So if you're heading deep into the wilderness, miles from paved roads, hundreds of miles from a fast charger.
Exactly. The hybrid system means you still have that advanced electric capability, the quad motor traction, but without the fear of getting stranded with a dead battery.
It sounds like a very realistic, market-savvy approach
Yeah.
for a brand that wants to appeal to people doing actual exploring, not just driving to the trailhead parking lot.
Yeah, it leverages the EV strengths, torque, silence, precision, but completely sidesteps the current big weakness for long trips, the charging infrastructure dependency.
It's like having two power systems, really, to make sure you can complete the mission no matter what. Pragmatic.
Very pragmatic, makes electrification viable for real remote adventures.
Okay, so moving from raw power and clever mechanics to cognitive power. Let's talk about the integrated AI system. They've given it a name, the AIcoDriver. And this sounds like it's way more than just, your standard sat-nav.
Oh, way beyond. Its role is defined as a personal travel assistant. And that word personal is key. It's not just generic advice. The system is supposed to learn you.
Learn you, okay. So what specifically does it do? What kind of help does it offer?
The sources mention three main things: suggesting destinations, providing detailed route guidance, and this is the really interesting one, proactively recommending drive modes. It's designed to anticipate what you need based on data it collects over time.
Okay, so how does it build that profile? What's it tracking about me and my driving?
It's designed to learn from your lifestyle, your routines. So, like if you often go mountain biking, the AI might learn to prioritize routes with good trail access, maybe even suggest new spots. If you always stop at a certain type of coffee shop or you prefer the scenic coastal route over the highway, it apparently integrates all that to make suggestions that fit your idea of a good trip.
Huh. Tailored adventure planning.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the personalization layer. What's the second layer? The real-time stuff.
Right. Continuous monitoring. The system is constantly watching two critical things in real time. First, external conditions, road surface, weather, traffic. Second, internal vehicle performance, things like traction levels at each wheel, battery output, how the suspension is working, any tire slip. It's constantly gathering data about the world outside and the physics of the vehicle itself.
And all that real-time data is what lets it react instantly and make those complex optimization recommendations you mentioned.
Exactly. That's the core function, the real co-driver part. Based on all that data, historical and real time, the AI recommends the most suitable driving mode. And it's trying to optimize for three specific things, which often conflict: comfort, efficiency, and control.
Yeah, those three are definitely hard to balance. Like, maximum efficiency often means less comfort, maybe less immediate control. Maximum control probably burns through energy faster. Can you give us an example? Like, walk us through a scenario where the AI has to juggle those.
Sure, absolutely. Let's imagine you're driving up a really steep, muddy track, deep in the woods somewhere. You've been cruising efficiently on pavement for the last couple of hours, but now the situation changes dramatically.
Okay, got it. Steep mud.
Right. The AIcoDriver instantly registers the low traction, the steep angle, the need for really precise power delivery. It recognizes it's a high-risk situation. So in that moment, the AI would basically rejig its priorities. Efficiency, still important for overall range, but maybe it drops to like 10% importance right now. Comfort, totally irrelevant climbing mud. But control safety, the ability to actually make it up the slope that probably jumps to 80% importance.
Ah, okay. So the AI would then say, hey, you need to engage this specific low-speed electric mode, the one that maximizes the quad motor torque vectoring, even if it uses more battery in the short term.
Precisely that. It coaches you into the optimal setting to minimize risk and ensure success. But then, say you get to the top and you're cruising on a flat, dry dirt road on a sunny day. Control might ease off a bit in importance, and efficiency might jump back up to help preserve range. The whole system is designed to take the complexity of managing this PHEV, the gas engine, 4 separate motors, and turn it into a simple, confidence-building recommendation for the driver.
That's fascinating. It basically sounds like the AIcoDriver is designed to turn even someone who's maybe not an expert off-roader into someone highly capable just by managing the drivetrain complexity for them, almost like the ultimate co-pilot.
Yeah, minimizing risk, maximizing the adventure, that seems to be the goal. And it raises an interesting point, doesn't it, for the skill required. It sort of shifts things from needing deep mechanical knowledge, knowing exactly when to lock a diff or shift into low range towards more of a managerial interaction, trusting the AI, responding to its complex calculations.
Yeah, that's a really interesting shift. Okay, so we have this incredibly engineered quad-motor PHEV adventure machine. It's loaded with glass, screens, and this personalized AI coach. Now, the crucial question, what does it all actually mean for the future? Since, this exact concept isn't just going to appear in showrooms next year. What's the realistic takeaway?
That's the necessary reality check. Absolutely. Our sources pretty much agree. The Elevance concept itself, exactly as shown, with the pillar-to-pillar screens, those maybe too complex transparent lower doors, the hexagon wheel, yeah, that's unlikely to hit mass production. The cost, the complexity, probably just too high for the kind of volume Mitsubishi needs to sell.
Right. But the key point is that the core ideas, the tech, the structure, that's the blueprint, isn't it? For future Mitsubishis. It's a tech demo and a design statement all in one. Shows they're serious.
Totally serious. And the most significant aspect of that, the reason we're even doing this deep dive, is that connection to the Montero revival everyone's hoping for. This isn't just us guessing. The concept feels like confirmation that something's in the pipeline.
Okay, let's talk about the actual evidence for that Montero link. Why are we so sure this concept is pointing towards its return?
Well, primarily because the concept fits perfectly with other reports, independent reports, about their development work. Our sources mention that spy shots have already surfaced publications like Car and Driver. Others have caught them showing a new, pretty rugged-looking Montero test mule being tested out in the real world.
Ah, so the engineering work, the basic product plan, that's likely already happening behind closed doors.
Exactly. This concept feels like Mitsubishi publicly confirming the direction they've already taken internally. They're basically saying, look, the spirit of our next big rugged SUV, possibly the Montero, will come directly from the tech sophistication and the squared-off look of this Elevance.
Gotcha. So we need to kind of filter the concept then, figure out which bits are most likely to make it to production. The super futuristic design elements, probably too radical, as you said, no transparent doors, probably not four screen.
Right. But the core visual language, that seems very transferable.
You mean the strong boxy shape, the high belt line, the obvious ground clearance, those functional looking wheel arches, that whole rugged, capable vibe.
Exactly. That aesthetic, that's essential. That will almost certainly translate to a new Montero. It needs to look like it belongs way off the pavement.
Agreed. But maybe even more important than the look are the advanced technologies and the core drivetrain philosophy, right?
That's where the real substance is, yes. A production Montero based on this. It seems virtually guaranteed to feature some version of that PHEV system. Maybe tweak for even better range or battery performance, but definitely PHEV.
And crucially, the quad motor architecture.
Yeah.
That electric super select. That potentially paired with a sophisticated AIcoDriver interface, that gives Mitsubishi a real point of difference in what's becoming a very crowded market, doesn't it?
It's their unique selling proposition, absolutely. They can market that system using that heritage name as a technologically superior successor. It lets them leverage their history, the rally wins, the tough SUV image, but fuse it with cutting-edge electrification and AI. It positions them potentially as a tech leader in the rugged space, not just someone bringing back an old name.
It feels like a really smart, calculated way to go up against the big players like Toyota with the Land Cruiser or Nissan with the Patrol Armada by focusing on high-tech control rather than just, say, bigger engines.
Yeah, they seem to be defining what an electrified adventure vehicle needs to be for the next decade. Incredibly controllable, smart, tech-assisted, and crucially free from that crippling range anxiety.
Okay, that feels like a good place to wrap up our dive into the Elevance concept. So, just to kind of synthesize the main points for you listening, the Elevance is Mitsubishi making a clear, pretty assertive statement. They intend to compete hard in this booming, rugged SUV segment, and it strongly signals that the Montero name might be on its way back.
And they're backing up that statement with some serious tech, a highly capable, anxiety-busting PHEV system. The core of that is the quad-motor electric super select architecture, promising just unparalleled instant traction control. And then they're layering on top this advanced personalized AI assistance, the AIcoDriver, designed to make every trip safer, more efficient, and, well, more controlled.
It really is a definitive positioning statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mitsubishi is blending its history, its off-road heritage, with the very latest tech, AI, and electrification to make sure its future models, like maybe a new Montero, are seen as genuinely competitive and cutting edge.
It's like the brand is saying, hey, we were pioneers in this space, and we absolutely know how to do modern ruggedness the right way.
Right. And that brings us to a final thought, something for you to maybe mull over. Building on this big technological shift the Elevance represents, we talked quite a bit about that AIcoDriver, the system that's constantly watching you, the road, the car, and recommending the perfect mode for efficiency, comfort, and control.
Yeah, so if you have an AI constantly stepping in, managing torque split, tweaking stability settings, maybe even subtly guiding your route choices specifically to maximize control, we have to ask the question, don't we? Does this kind of technology fundamentally enhance driver ability? Does it open up challenging terrains to more people who might lack the deep mechanical knowledge or experience otherwise?
Or does it do the opposite? By managing all that complexity for you, does it ultimately dilute the raw skill, the instinct, the independent judgment that used to define real, challenging off-roading? Does it take something away from the adventure?
It's really the core question about automation in the context of exploration, isn't it? Do you want the absolute digital safety net and assistance? Or do you crave the personal mastery of the machine and the terrain? Something to think about as we wait to see what this next generation of rugged electrified machines actually brings. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.